I'm Erika.
And this is Sherry.
And this is
Generation Conversation.
Where new school beats old school.
Old school beats new school.
Nah. Welcome back. I hope everyone's having a great week or a great start to their week, whenever you're listening to this.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
Today's topic is called storytelling.
Yes, storytelling.
Get some insight, some behind the scenes of us, you know. Get to know us a little better, and then tap into some stuff from Sherry's past.
As well as Erika's
but Sherry's is older, so the old school. And, you know, mine is a little newer. But yeah, so we'll get into it.
Yes, and keep in mind that these stories are real.
Yes.
They're not fictional. They're all true, with a little of Erika's drama.
Sherry's drama. Okay. All right.
Give us some topics. Give us the first topic.
So, when is a time when you felt the most scared?
So, for me, the most scared is not one time.
Okay.
The most scared is actually every single time my phone rings after midnight or late at night.
Why is that?
Because if you think about it, you know, why would someone be calling me that late? If it's something that's not very important, then they could text me or just wait till in the morning to call me, because everybody knows that I'm asleep. So if they're calling at that time, they mean to wake me up. Mm-hmm. If they mean to wake me up, that means somebody's dead.
Oh, God.
Somebody's dying. Somebody's hurt. Or somebody's missing.
Okay, seems like you made this list before.
So, when my phone rings, the nerves in my body, everything just tightens immediately. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, you know, that's just how it is. Now, you know, I have my phone. I used to have my phone on Do Not Disturb, with the exception of certain numbers, you know, people in my favorites. So that if my kids call, you know, my father, my best friend, my aunt, you know, my sister, whatever, it would ring. Mm-hmm. But everybody else, it wouldn't, because those people knew not to call me. You know what I mean? But then I thought about it, and I said, so if Erika gets robbed and they take her phone, and she needs to call me from the hospital, or she needs to call me from another number, it won't come through. So then I took that off, and I was like, forget that. Anybody that needs to call me is just going to call me, and they're going to get told off if it's not serious, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just how it is, so.
Yeah, I get that. Mm-hmm. So you keep your phone on now. That's what I've been contemplating. Like, when I lived here, my phone was always on silent.
Right.
All time.
I know.
Every day, during the day, at night, always on silent. And then especially at night, because the people who, you know, I lived with were the people I needed to know what was going on. And if something was going on with them, something was going on with me too, because I was here. But since I moved out, I have it on, the volume on. I mean, sometimes I turn it off because I'm trying to figure out how to filter the text messages and the phone calls, because people be texting me at all hours of the night.
Yeah, just turn your text message and notifications off.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay.
And that way it'll still ring, but you won't get the notifications for your text messages.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's hard with the emails too, because I have my emails on, because I be wanting to know what's going on and the opportunity coming up. Like, I need to know.
I do not do email notifications ever.
But, and then I'd be like, people call, sometimes I think, okay, people call me, what can I do?
Right.
Like, what can I do for them?
Right.
I mean, like my girlfriends, you know, I have a friend here who, her family's not here or anything.
Right.
Melissa, she called me.
Right.
Okay, I get that.
Right.
But other people, what can I do?
Right.
I mean, that could be a listening ear. Yeah.
Right.
But other than that.
Right. Maybe.
I mean, when I have kids and stuff.
Yeah.
And, but for y'all, I could, you know, yeah, I just don't like my phone being on, like the notifications.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
Especially not when I'm sleeping. I value my sleep.
I know. And it's funny because I've gotten to the point now where I can sleep through a text message. Yeah. I won't even hear the notification of a text message. Mm-hmm. But if it rings, of course.
Yeah.
And then the Amber Alert.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. That will wake you out your sleep.
They be
so
tripping
quick.
with that.
They do.
They be tripping with that.
But you know what? I'm good with the Amber Alert, because I was like, if that was my kid, Lord have mercy.
But dang.
I know.
It's so
it's
loud.
serious. That Amber Alert is serious. And the thing is that I have 2 phones, one work and one personal,
Mm-hmm.
and then Eric's phone. So every phone in the house is going off at the same time, and we just wake up in panic.
That's why I have mine on silent.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to change that Amber Alert because I don't know where the child is at night when I'm in the bed. I'm sorry, I'll look at it in the morning, but while I'm at home, I don't know where the child is. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
I can't. I don't know where the white Bronco is. I don't know. Unless it's in my driveway, I don't know.
I don't know. We're not gonna go out looking for it. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
We're sleeping. But and then my security system was on my phone too.
Yes.
So
you're gonna have
I gotta keep it on.
Yeah. You're just gonna have to go through your notifications and say this needs to be on, this needs to be off, this needs to be on.
Y'all just don't text me after 10 o'clock.
People, but see, a lot of times I'm okay with texting because a lot of people be like, I needed to text you because I forget.
And I say that, but I no, I really don't try to text people that late.
No.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Well, my friends are old, so they gotta text me while they thinking about it because they'll forget, and then the next day they be like, "I meant to tell you," and I be like, "Why you just didn't text me?"
See, I am a reminder person. Like I play reminders for everything. For a thought. Remember to think this later. Like I don't want it up here. I want it in here.
I know. That's
so
true.
I'll be like, text such and such at this time.
So she the kind of, if she lose her phone, her life is over.
It's really over.
Over.
It's done.
Yes.
I will die.
Yes.
There'll be an Amber Alert for me. But yeah. So
that's mine.
Mm-hmm.
So what about you?
I think the time that I felt the most scared was probably when I tore my Achilles.
Mm-hmm.
It was right after I graduated nursing school. So I had a lot of knowledge, medical knowledge.
Too much.
But too much. So I was trying to self-diagnose myself in ways that I didn't need to. So I'm thinking, I threw a blood clot and it was about to travel up my lungs into my brain, and it just
was die.
Yes, ultimately I thought I was about to die. And I've never broken anything, injured myself ever. Okay, we'll get to that actually.
Oh, Lord.
That's a lie. But anyway, so the story is I was running from the cops, and
that's the story. That is not what happened. We said we weren't gonna lie.
Okay. So I was
She told everybody on the cruise that's what happened. That's how
I told them I was running from the cops. Or some people I told I was a track runner for LSU. But anyway, because that was so much more fascinating than Double Dutch.
That's what really happened.
Double Dutch tried to take me out. It did take me out for a little bit, but I bounced back. But yeah, so, went to Double Dutch with the older women support.
And she was killing it.
I was killing it.
Mm-hmm.
I was killing it. And
I was impressed.
Yeah, so.
Because I'm a Double Dutch queen.
Yeah. It took me a little bit at first.
Right.
I had to get the rhythm of it.
Right.
And at the end, and it was at the very end of the session.
It was.
We were playing this game. Anybody does Double Dutch or has seen it done, you jumping in the ropes, you jump out, and whoever messes up is out of the game. So like she said, I was killing it. It was me and this dude left going neck to neck, and then I am jumping out of the ropes, and I'm like, I felt like he kicked me. So I'm like, this joker kicked me to win.
She swear everybody is after her all the time.
Yo, he kicked me and I heard something pop. So I'm like, that's his shoe. Like, I thought it was a thud from his shoe to my shoe, kicking me out of the rope so I could fall. And that's what I did. I fell out. Because, like, why not? Like, he just kicked me. I'm falling. So I fell out. But it was almost like, I'm like, dang, my leg just gave out. So I'm like, okay, maybe I just rolled my ankle, twisted my ankle. So I get up and try to walk. And I'm like, it's like, you know how you lay on your arm or something too long, you get
feels
that.
Dead.
Yeah,
like
and you move it and it's just all this tingling
like
rushing. And that's what it kind of felt like. So I'm like, okay, that's weird, but all right. Why is my leg doing that? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to walk. No, could not walk. I'm like, what the heck is this? Like, what is my leg? Like, I'm trying to shake it out. Like, or no, before that, you come over and you're like let me tie your shoe up real tight.
Okay, with them playing basketball previously, that's always the thing. When they roll their ankle, tie their shoe up really tight so it doesn't swell.
Yeah.
So that's what that was my thought process.
So she over here doing that, and in my eyes, oh my gosh, she's gonna miss the cruise. And I'm like, no, like, what are you talking about? What's happening? All I'm thinking about is, dang, I gotta call out of work. I just started a waitress position. I gotta call out of work. So go get in the car, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Then I get in the house, and I take the shoe off, or someone takes the shoe off for me just to look at it. Baby, when that shoe comes off.
See, so that's tying the shoe helped.
No, it did not.
Well, it helped you.
I think it made it worse. When my shoe
Don't try to blame me.
When the shoe came off, my foot just dropped, and my heart did too. Because I was like, oh, like that feeling was something I have never felt before. I was like, oh my God, like it just was nothing there. And I'm just like, what's happening? And so I'm getting anxious. I'm getting like panicky. And then my brother and my dad's like, oh my gosh, she out for the season. It's her Achilles. And I'm like, oh my God, it's a blood clot in my foot.
For what season?
My life.
Oh, okay.
The season of my life.
It's like you was playing
ball.
Right.
They was jokingly equating it to me playing basketball. But I'm like, yo, it's a blood clot. I'm thinking it's compartment syndrome we just learned in school. Basically, my limb is about to fall off.
Lord. And
then my leg is hot, and I'm just freaking out. And it's one of the symptoms too is a sudden onset of panic. So I'm just
well, you always have that symptom. So
whoa,
you always have an onset of panic.
No, I don't. A lot of people say I'm super chill.
Yeah, they haven't seen you when something happens. That's all.
Anyway. I tore my whole Achilles.
And this just so happened to be around the same time that Kevin Durant tore his Achilles.
Oh, yeah.
So she felt as though that they were like on the same level.
That was my dog, man. We was on the same level. We went through the trenches together. Okay?
I'm sure he went through it a little differently.
Exactly. He got more money than me. I'm sure it was way different. He had one of them motorized scooters.
I got you a scooter.
That truck was rigged.
They took it back.
Because I fell off of it. And stomped on my torn Achilles foot. What? But yeah, that was just very, very scary because I just didn't know what was happening. And I was just like, oh my gosh. So we went to urgent care, told me it's probably your Achilles, blah, blah, blah. You're going to have surgery. Have to have surgery. And honestly, I was scared then too because I had never had surgery. They about to put me under. Oh my God, am I going to wake up? Like, what the heck? So that was scary. But definitely the act of tearing it and like what led afterwards, very scary.
Right.
I was freaking out.
Right. Yeah, that was scary.
Yeah, but one of my other like, it's not a fear, but moments I get really scared is on planes actually.
And you travel a lot.
I travel a lot, but like I don't know though if that show Manifest made it worse.
Yeah, that's
because it's gotten worse.
Oh,
it's gotten worse. Just taking off and landing. They say those are the
most dangerous.
Yeah, the times that the plane can malfunction or something bad happens are during takeoff and landing. So I get really scared during those times, and I just be like, God, I just be praying. And I'm like, God, I mean, if it's meant for me to go, it's time for me to go.
Goodness. And it's funny because that makes me think of a time for me that was most, that I was scared too, that I didn't think about before, but it was on a plane. Erika and I were going out of the country, and it was right after 9/11. It was the first time we flew after 9/11, and it was some people that were on the plane that were from another country, and I'm almost certain that they were doing this on purpose. And they kept getting up out their seats, going in the overhead like they were going to get something. And sometimes going to the bathroom and staying in the bathroom for a long time. And I was so scared. Everybody was scared. Everybody on the plane was scared. And finally the flight attendants were like, look, guys, y'all got to sit down and you can't get back up. They did not listen. They still did it. So it was a couple in front of us, and they looked back and looked at Eric and was like shaking his head like, you ready? And then Eric was like, yep, I'm ready. And you know, me and the girls like, we're going to do what we're going to have to do, because we not going to just sit here and let y'all just do this. We about to take y'all down, and we're going to fight this thing out up here in these wonderful skies. And I was really scared. Afterwards, when we got off, they escorted them somewhere. I'm sure they got in trouble because it was ridiculous how bad it was. It was ridiculous. So, You know, I wasn't profiling. They were doing that on purpose. Trust me.
That's crazy. That would have been really scary, especially during that time.
Yes, I mean, it was.
They knew
what they were doing, and they made, you know, people might have been treating them a certain way, and they were just trying to get back, but they better be glad that, because we was really ready to go. You know, we were gonna really go, for real.
Sure was gonna really go, y'all.
Yeah, we was gonna go, for real.
Okay. So what is a time where you felt the most loved?
So, I think I feel most loved a lot of times. I have lots of little, I keep cards that mean a lot to me. I keep notes that mean a lot to me. You know, different things that are given to me by my husband and my kids or best friends or whoever. But I keep those things. So I feel most loved a lot. But one time that I could think of is the time when I moved from Philadelphia to Georgia. You know, I was in my 20s, and my father and my best friend. So my best friend and I drove my car, and my father drove the truck with my stuff in it, and came here to Atlanta, moved me into the apartment. That night, my girlfriend and I, it was the first night we were in Atlanta, we decided to go out. We were going out. So we got dressed, and my dad, he had to drive back the next day, so he was like, I'm just going to sleep. And I was like, cool. So her and I go out, party, come back, pull up into the apartment complex, and the truck is not there. And I'm like, come on, did somebody...
What time y'all think it was? You think it was?
What part?
What time?
Oh, it was probably like 4 in the morning. So, you know, we like the truck, somebody probably stole the truck, but it wasn't a big deal because there wasn't anything in it. You know what I mean? But it was my father's truck, you know what I mean? So I'm like, dang, you know, but we didn't see it, you know, whatever, because it was a truck and a trailer. So then we go in, and I'm going in to tell him, and he's not there. And I'm like, where the heck is my father at 4 o'clock in the morning in Georgia, where he don't know anybody? You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm calling him, he's not answering, and I'm like, what the heck? This is weird. You know what I mean? What is happening? Where could he be? So I called my grandmother, which probably gave her a heart attack.
I was just about to say that. 4 in the morning.
Think about it, probably gave her a heart attack, but she answered, and I was like, you know, Grandma, Daddy's not here. And I was all upset. Daddy's not here. You know, we came back and he's not here. And she was like, he's on his way home. And I'm like, what? I was like, how can he leave without saying goodbye? You know? And she was like, he didn't want to say goodbye. You know, she was like, you know, he didn't want to see you before, you know, and leave you there. And I just felt so loved, you know. And to this day, my father and I have never talked about it. We never discussed it, never addressed it.
I'm gonna ask him about it. He's like, you did that too, Mom? He's gonna be like, yeah, man. You know, all cool and stuff.
And he's so good. That's the thing. He's so cool that, you know, he didn't want, you know.
But I feel like he's cool, but he's like with me, you know, when I live with him, we talked about a lot of stuff and just like how he's felt emotionally and stuff. Right. So he would tell me.
He's definitely different with his grandkids than he was with us. Yeah. So.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
So what about you?
So, well, my most loved experience probably kind of wraps into my scariest moment and one of my happiest moments too. It was graduating college. Graduating college was really great, but it was really stressful. It was just a lot to it. It was a lot. So, initially, like, you know, preparation, especially for females, getting your hair done, getting your makeup done, and all of that. Getting my hair done, my hair lady canceled my appointment like a day before. Had to find somebody else to do my hair. That was stressful. And then my makeup appointment was, you know, I was cutting it close. Graduation was at 4. I think I booked it for, I'm pretty sure it was like 1 o'clock or something.
That's reasonable.
Yeah, it was 1 o'clock. What? I got into the chair at maybe like 2:45. Got into the girl's chair at 2:45. I mean, at this point, I have no other options. I mean, I could have done my own makeup, but back then in college, I was not makeup artist. I was not that. Okay. I mean, not saying I am now, but I've definitely grown a lot. So I was not about to try that on my graduation day. So I'm like, oh my God, I gotta wait for her. I was supposed to pick up my cousin from the airport. I couldn't because I was waiting. So she had to Uber to the makeup place. So I'm back there getting my makeup done. I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, it's cutting close. Makeup is not a short process. That takes at least an hour. So I get out of her chair at like 3:45.
Again, graduation starts
at 4 o'clock. Get out of her chair like 3:45. I have to drive back to my home to change, and it's like 25 minutes away. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm freaking out. And then like it's the type of freaking out where I'm about to pee on myself.
And then
out.
I'm at the graduation with 100 people here for Erika.
A lot of people.
And everybody's like, where's Erika? Because people started walking in. And they're like, where's Erika? Where's Erika? And Eric walked the entire stadium to look for you. Like, he was looking from every view. He was, they sit down on the floor. He walked all the way around looking for you. So I'm calling her, and I'm calling her.
Blowing me up, but I knew if I would have answered that woman's phone call, I would have had a breakdown. Because she would have made me feel so much more anxious than I already felt. So I'm like, I'm not answering that phone. And then you called right. My cousin. I was like, you better not answer that phone. Right. We ain't got time for that. We are on a mission. We're going to get there. So
I could have just text me.
We didn't have time for that. No, ma'am. I ain't have no type of time for that. So I'm like, okay, driving, whip into the house, boom. Cricket decides she gotta take a shower. She hop in the shower. I'm like, whatever. My bra breaks, so I had to make do with something else. And so I'm like, okay, I hop in my dress, and my dress is white at that. That was stupid. So I hop in my dress, and I'm like getting in the car. I gotta drive to the school. It was like 10-15 minutes away. Drive to the school, and I'm calling my homegirl like, hey girl, like, are you at the graduation? She's like, yeah, I'm in line. I'm like, perfect. Tell them to wait for me. I am on my way. And I was like, let me talk to them. Listen, I am on my way. I have to walk across that stage. I have to. And then she's like, okay, girl. They saying, hurry up. Hurry. So I'm on my way. So I pull up, and I'm like, jump out the car. No shoes on. Got the heels in my hand, because ain't no way I'm about to make it in. No. Did I keep the heels on? I might have ran in the hills. Nah, man. You can't run the same way you run in the hills. So I took the heels off, and I ran barefooted. Judge me if you want. But I made it. And like, I was the last
Barely.
I was the last person there.
The absolute last person.
And then like, you just made it. I was like, I don't want to hear all that. I'm here, okay? And put my shoes on, get in there.
I couldn't believe it.
I'm sweaty.
I couldn't believe it.
I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I really was about to miss. That's all I was thinking about. It's 50 people here for me.
Yeah.
I'm about to miss my college graduation.
Right.
I was about to break down. So I get there, but it was worth it, because afterwards, when I went to go and meet my family and stuff, I come around the corner, all you hear is, Erika, Erika. And I'm like, oh my God. Like,
she's all crying.
It was such a great feeling, like, for everyone to be there for me, just from all different places. No
one was from Tampa at the time except for our girlfriend, Alyssa. She was living in Tampa then. But everybody else was from everywhere.
Yeah, and some people were just there for that, like for the day, and then they went, went home the next day.
Yeah.
Miss Sandra, Uncle
Brian,
right. Uncle Ernest.
Yep.
So yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, like that feeling was indescribable. Like, I felt so much love and so overjoyed. And I was like, it was so worth it.
Yeah.
But if I would have missed it, I would have been so sad. It felt so awful.
Yeah. Thank God.
But yeah, that was like my most loved, one of my scariest, my happiest. It was so many emotions. And then like we went out afterwards, like that was a great time.
Oh yeah.
So it was just that was great. Graduating college was great.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Good.
So, I touched on my happiest memory. What would you say yours was?
My happiest memories are consist of both times I delivered kids. Those times were, you can't, unless you have actually either delivered kids on your own or been a part of a delivery. You cannot explain the happiness and the overwhelmness and the, all those mixed emotions. You get the pain, but then right after the pain, when you have the baby, that pain for me just disappeared. I don't even remember. I just remember that there was pain. I just don't really remember what it felt like.
No pain, no gain.
Right. All I remember is having the babies.
Right.
And holding them and them looking up at you, and that, that's just such a great, great feeling. And I think that every man should experience it somehow, even if it's not with his wife. Like, he should be a part of somebody's delivery.
Really? Why is
that?
that?
Yeah, because they don't get that. They don't get the concept of actual birth of a human being without being there. You know what I mean? I know that Eric looks at, has a whole different perspective now, having been a part of both of those. But, every man should definitely, everybody, if they got a chance, go in with somebody that's having a baby.
Yeah, I agree 100%, because, in nursing school, I did a labor and delivery clinical. And originally I wanted to be a labor and delivery nurse because it's just such a great experience. Being allowed to take part in that part of someone's life, to take part in the life being brought into the world. Yeah, it's such a magical feeling. Right. And now with me, like, I might go back to it, because just seeing so much death all the time in nursing, like, just an opportunity to see life brought into the world, and just something new and refreshing and exciting, and just the love in the room, and it's just it's a great feeling. Like, it's unmatched. Really,
it is. It's definitely great.
So you want to touch on some differences in deliveries back in the day and now?
Yeah.
So back in the day, I know there were a lot of natural births, but now I feel like there are more helpful tools to aid with the natural births. Like, you have the actual people, the midwives and the doulas, who help with that.
Right. So I went natural both times, and
And when we say natural births, we mean without any epidural pain medication.
Right. Not even a Tylenol. I was like, can a sister get a Tylenol? Well, it was
Tylenol ain't gonna touch.
I know Tylenol's gonna reject. But so I didn't have my water didn't break. I didn't have any epidural. I didn't get any stitches because I didn't split or nothing. So I got nothing. So I went in and came out exactly the same. But and at that time, a lot of people weren't doing that. You know what I mean? A lot of people weren't really doing it. But prior to me, that there was really no epidural or anything like that. Right. That was what it was. And now, people are going in the hospital asking for epidural. Like, okay, can I get it? But a lot of studies, and you may know about this, but a lot of studies are saying that they think that the epidural affects kids somehow.
I know it does affect the moms.
Yeah, like back pains later and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's something that,
Yeah, but I feel, that pain. I can't even imagine.
I know. But it went so fast with both of my deliveries that, you're in that pain for the moment, but it goes so fast. So hopefully, it'll go fast. One thing that I recommend is just being pregnant. I mean, everybody's different, you know what I mean? But being pregnant, if you just continue to do what you normally do as much as you can, I think that makes the pregnancy better. I worked up until that day for both. You know what I mean? And I think that, that made a lot, made a difference.
Yeah.
So
it's definitely some preparation in it. Like, for a natural birth, I feel. I mean, granted, you didn't, maybe working helped you easier. Easily transition into the natural birth, but you gotta prepare.
You do. You gotta prepare your mind.
Yes.
That's more so than even your body. You gotta prepare your mind. But then there's some people that there's no way for them to go natural because they get stuck at a certain, dilation, and they can't go any further. And nobody should endure pain for like 13 hours. Right. Some people are in labor for like 13 hours, 2 days, stuff like that. They shouldn't endure pain for that. So
no, that's true. Yeah. And sometimes the fact that when you get the epidural, you don't feel anything below your waist. So that's
scary to me.
Yeah, and you can't push effectively. Right. Like, I've been in pregnancies or deliveries where they weren't able to push because they can't feel it. Like, they're like, I'm pushing, and they're like, oh, you're not. We need to do a little bit more. So then they may have to have a cesarean section. Right. So
that's a lot.
It is a lot, but it's evolving, and I mean, hopefully we stop losing a lot of mothers. During deliveries and everything.
That's scary.
Yeah. What would you say is your most embarrassing moment?
So for me, I don't get embarrassed easily at all. It's times I probably should be very embarrassed, and I'm not. Okay. But this one time that I can remember was this is when I had my mortgage company, and me and some of the guys that worked for me were going out to lunch. Mm-hmm. So we all pack in the car, I'm driving, and we're heading over. We get out the car to go into the place to eat. And one of the guys that worked for me, he so very kindly walked up to me and he said, "You have a red stain on your pants." And the funny thing is that although I should have probably been embarrassed, or maybe most people would have been embarrassed, I was more embarrassed for him. Mm-hmm. Because I knew it took a lot for him to say that. You know, I knew he knew what it was. I knew, you know, he had to take time and think about how he was going to say it. Mm-hmm. And stuff, you know. And I was just so thankful to him, though. You know, I was like, thank you so much. And I, you know, went to the bathroom, took care of everything, and, you know, washed everything out and, you know, did everything. But he just felt so relieved afterwards, you know, probably more than me.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
That was nice. I hope people are doing that. I feel like people, because they would be so embarrassed to tell you.
Right, right. Yeah. And that's why I think it took a lot for him to say it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing, though. I get more embarrassed for people than I do myself.
Right.
I don't know. I just, because they look so embarrassed.
Right.
And I just feel so bad. It's like I want to save them, but.
No. And see, I think we don't get as embarrassed. And when I say we, I don't just mean me and you, but I mean our family. It's because we dog each other out all the time.
That's a fact.
We dog each other out. So we've gotten lots of practice.
Yeah.
So it takes a whole lot. It's not a lot people could do to hurt our feelings or embarrass us. Right. Because we handle that in our family.
Pretty much. Yeah. Get called ugly, looking like a dog.
And ugly by our grandfather.
Oh, yeah. It started very young. Yeah, man.
So
yeah, I don't really get embarrassed. Like the most I've been embarrassed was because of my parents. Like their presence used to embarrass me. For real. Like
sometimes that was intentional.
Yes, they would be so extra.
Yes.
Coming up to the school acting a mess.
Yes.
Or just sometimes like maybe when at like I do remember one time when I was in elementary school and it was like a trivia competition or something, Jeopardy or something, and I was on the team with this one boy, super smart. He knew he was super smart. He know it all. You know them type of kids. And I was like, you know, I like till this day, I'm like, I ain't the smartest, and I don't have to be. So I'm just here. You know, I'm gonna do.
But she was very smart.
I'm gonna do what I have to do, and that's it. So, but he was wanting to take like, okay, it was a game where you press the buzzer to answer the question. He was pressing the buzzer every time, and he was answering it, not giving me a chance.
They were on the same team.
You were on the same team. But I'm like, you know, I'm going to let him carry the team. Like, who's
because it means so much to him.
Right. It means a lot to him. I'm going to let him have it. So, Eric Lewis, he was not having it. So, he sees this going on, like him not allowing me to answer the questions or giving me a chance. He gets up and like...
And I saw it coming because he was getting fidgety. And I'm like, oh, God, here we go. And he kept saying, why he not letting Erika answer? Why he got to answer everything? I'm like, uh-oh.
He gets up and yells. What does he say?
He said, let her answer. Let her answer.
I'm like, yo, Dad, no. It's cool. I ain't gotta answer because it might be more embarrassing to answer with the wrong. So after this point, like I gotta answer, and then whenever I answer, and if it's the wrong answer, it will be like, dang, that was a waste. Like
he would have looked at the boy, would have looked at you like, see,
really, sis, this is why I had this. And I was like, it's cool. I'm like, it's okay.
That was funny.
Oh my God, I was so embarrassed.
That was funny.
So embarrassed, but I mean, you know. I can't down him for that. That's, right. That was real.
And not until you have your own kids.
Yeah.
Again, trust me.
But I was good on not answering. But so like that just really came to mind. I was gonna say I don't have an embarrassing one, more like embarrassing facts about me. That I have injured my head like more times than the average person. And when I say my head, my literal skull, like it's been injured. Maybe that's why I wear my wigs and stuff to protect it. But I think it started off with the very first time when I was dropped on my head as a baby. You know, you
weren't dropped directly on your head. You were just dropped, and then your head just hit.
What does that sound like? What does that sound like? Wow. My head just hit the ground.
Look,
The
I
ground
didn't
hit
do
my
it.
head.
I didn't do it.
Yeah, Eric, he dropped me on my head as a baby. But anyway, and after that, it just was like a domino effect.
Everything else after that was all her.
Okay, but it was on my head. It was
the
like
go-karting
so
thing.
I fell like on the monkey bars on my head.
Yeah.
And it was bleeding.
Yeah.
Go-kart, I had a concussion, or they think I had a concussion.
Yeah, and to this day, we could go to that amusement park for free. The whole family.
That's all y'all care
because
about.
Of that.
What else? Oh, one time with volleyball.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
That was kind of a scary moment for me because I wasn't at the. I was on my way to the game and they had already started. And one of the parents called me and said, "Erika just fell and hit her head and she won't get up." I'm like, "What?" So I'm running because
it was so dramatic.
It was through the it was in the auxiliary gym or something. So I'm running, and I'm flying through the gym. And then I get there, and you're just getting up. So I'm like, thank you, Jesus.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. I don't know.
Because you blacked out, didn't you? Because you don't remember.
I think I just blacked out for a second.
Yeah.
Like a literal second.
Yeah.
I mean, I hit it pretty hard, but then they wouldn't let me play. I'm like, really?
Right.
And then we lost.
Right.
So, yeah, man. Just like besides my Achilles, every other thing has been my head.
It's too big. That's why.
Jesus. God, I hope I don't have nothing up in there. Like, I should go get some brain scans and MRIs.
Probably so.
Because, yeah, man.
So, okay, that sounds like a funny moment. But tell us about one of your funniest moments.
One of my funniest moments. I have a lot of funny moments.
Yeah.
And I think it's because I laugh at everything. Probably things I shouldn't laugh at, but I just do. The funniest moment was with you when we were in Alabama for a volleyball tournament. And it was just, I don't know if you guys tuned into our last episode, but where things just be feeling weird. Like the vibe is just off. Or it's just like, what's happening?
Yeah.
It was probably, Mercury was probably retrograde.
Whatever.
But it was so funny because like everything was off, but we were just cracking up at everything.
Funny. Everything was funny.
Yes, we couldn't. So we went to the mall and we couldn't figure out how to get into the mall.
Yeah, because it was like entrance ways that would not open.
Yeah, it was just so weird.
It was weird.
So we finally get into the mall and then we get into like Macy's or something. And this person just falls out on the floor.
I promise you, that person just dropped. I mean, just dropped.
And I didn't see it. I'm going off of her word.
And I'm trying to explain it.
And I'm like, what? And I'm probably all loud. Like, what you mean somebody fell? And then it felt like everybody was looking at us. Like,
everybody was looking at us. We didn't belong. We just looked like outcasts.
I just played a volleyball game. I was in some gym clothes.
Yeah, but still, something about us did not belong there. I could tell. It's just everybody. It's like everybody knew each other and knew that we didn't belong there. That's how it felt.
So weird.
It was.
And it didn't help that we were cracking up, crying. Because once we start laughing, we can't stop. We can't stop. And it just don't even be making no sense. So we just laugh more, I think, to hide the confusion. Like, what's happening?
And see, this is very similar. Just recently when we went to Kendall's basketball game just the other day. And we were at because you got to fly and then you take the train, take Amtrak. We were in the Amtrak station. And it's just the people that were in there were just.
But no, them people was looking at us too. I was just like,
because we didn't belong in there. It was just a bunch of people that would look weird.
They looked off, and it was just a lot going on.
It was a lot, and then we were just laughing and loud and just. That's why they look at us.
Probably because we just be loud and we don't be caring. That's why we don't get embarrassed either.
No, we don't.
If anything, we would embarrass ourselves.
Right.
But we would know it because we're doing it to ourselves.
People might be embarrassed for us, thinking that we're embarrassed.
Maybe so.
But we're not.
I ain't got to worry. We ain't embarrassed.
We're not embarrassed at all.
What would you say your funniest time was?
There was this club over in Jersey when I was living in Philly, and it was called Mahorns. It was Rick Mahorns. He was a basketball player. He had a club in Jersey that we used to go to. So we went there, and it's a lot of celebrities that used to go there. And it was Boyz II Men was there that night, and a football player at the time Brown was his last name. And I was with my best friend Doreen, and she loved him. Okay, so she absolutely loved him. He was very, very handsome guy. Actually, shortly after that incident, he died.
Oh.
He was in a car accident. He had a Corvette, and he liked to drive really fast. And he had a car accident. It was really shortly after that too. But Jerome Brown, I think it was. But anyway, so he was there, and we were walking out. We were leaving the club, and it was like a bunch of people all like crowded up together trying to get out. And it was me and her and Boyce the Men and Jerome Brown. And I remember Doreen reached out to grab Jerome Brown's behind because she was freaking out. I guess I don't know what happened to her, but she was just freaking out. She was. And I guess because she was so close to him and how much she loved him and blah blah blah, so she was going and she was yelling and looked like she was crying.
I can just picture that.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And you know how she is, and she's not quiet. So I didn't want to get embarrassed. So I took my glove, and I wanted her to calm down. I took my glove, and I just slapped her across her face. I had a leather glove, and I just slapped her across the face. And she just calmed down. Just that quick. Just calmed down. And everything was great, but it was the funniest thing because it was like almost like a movie. You know, like something. And I didn't even think about what to do. I don't even know like where the glove came from. I don't remember taking it out. All I remember was she had to shut up, and I slapped her. And we laugh about it now. All the time.
Did y'all like meet him? Like
no,
oh,
no.
Maybe you just would have let her carry on. She would have, got backstage like y'all was always doing.
Right.
Dang, that's funny.
Yeah. But yeah.
Any just like random stories?
So let me see. I remember the first time I found out about Freaknik here in Georgia. It was I had moved down here already, actually. And what happened was I had went to a play. It was me, my sister, and at the time my niece was a baby. And we went to this play. We knew one of the guys that was in the play, so he left us some tickets. We'll call. We had great seats. You know, the play was fabulous. We come out. If everybody knows, anything about Atlanta, we went to the Fox, and the Fox is on Peachtree. So we come out the play. We went in, everything was normal. We came out, and it was a whole nother world. It was just Freaknik. It was cars lined up all the way down.
Because y'all didn't have social media to be able to tell.
Right, we didn't know. Peachtree. I'm like, what is this? Now, granted, I've been here probably less than a month, maybe a month. I had been here, and I was like, oh my God, what is this? I don't know what it is, but I love it. I love it. So, because we had this little infant baby, so people probably was like, what are they doing out here? We were just walking to our car. You know what I mean? So
it was me to Freaknik.
Not you, Yane.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how long it was. 93.
Dang.
Yep. So that was just. That was odd. That was a weird time.
That's so funny.
What about you?
A random time, probably when I was in college. I have a lot of random time in college. And I can't tell all my stories like you because, I'm still in my time era. But no, when we went to this party and, it was my freshman year in college, and none of us had cars. When I say none of us, like my friends, all my freshman friends, none of us had cars. So we would like be talking to like the older people, and like they would pick us up or let us drive their car. But if we had one car, we had to do what we had to do with one car.
It would be like 50,000 people.
So it would be like 50,000 people in the car, and people in the trunk. So
the trunk closed?
It was like a hatchback, like a.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The hatchback.
So we got pulled over by the police with somebody in the trunk, and
did you get a ticket?
No, I don't know. And then the guy who got pulled over was Sam. He's from the Philippines, and I don't know if he didn't have his license or something with his license. He didn't have it. I don't know how he got talked out of it because, like I said, there was a lot of us in the car, so most of us were trying to be quiet.
Right.
And it was just a hot mess. But he didn't get in trouble or anything.
Oh, wow.
Probably because it was a college town, too.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. But
Right.
so we just went to the party as if nothing happened.
And came home as if nothing
Yeah,
happened.
but we didn't all come home in the same car. We found like different ways.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was scary, but it was so funny because
Right.
it was like, really, we're doing this now?
Now that's funny because that reminds me of a time. When we used to go skating. We used to go skating every Sunday night. And we would, catch the bus there, but the bus stopped running by the time the skating let out on Sundays. So you had to figure out how to get home. Mm-hmm. So we would go there knowing we had no way to get home. And it wasn't close. Mm-hmm. It wasn't walking distance or anything. So we would go there and we'd be like, we'll find somebody. We know somebody, whatever. And I remember 2 separate occasions. The first time, one of the times we went there, I saw this guy who lived across the street from my grandmother's. Dwayne. I was like, cool, Dwayne, can we catch a ride with you? He's like, yeah, no problem. So me and my girlfriend pack in his car, and him and another guy's in there. We're in his car, and we like, cool, For whatever reason, don't ask me why, his car would not go and drive. So he drove us all the way home in reverse.
How far was home?
Okay, probably about 20 minutes. And it's on the boulevard. And the boulevard is a great big highway like thing. And the thing is that he drove just as fast as if we was going forward.
Oh, heck no.
And the thing is that I've known Dwayne for a long time. And he is a driver. He's a good driver. And I don't know why I wasn't paranoid. I should have been, but I wasn't.
No.
I wasn't.
That's one thing about me. And I do not like driving in people or riding in people's cars who can't drive or who just...
And he could drive, though.
Or just I don't know. Like, there's 2 instances I will never forget where I'm just in the car and I wanted to fight the person for driving how they was driving.
Right.
Like, one for, guys who be driving, they be trying to be too cool.
Right.
That's no. I'm going to fight you and choke you and kill you. Because you put in my life in jeopardy to look cool. You corny. So, this is my aunt's friend. And Auntie, if you're listening, you will know who I'm talking about. We were all in the car. It was in Philly, going back to the hotel. And I don't know what the heck he was doing. I think he was looking at her. Yeah, he was looking at her. Mm-hmm. And if I would not have said anything, we would have been in the rear of this car. He was just looking all corny. And then I was like I'm thinking okay, this man see this car in front of us. Is he going to brake? And I'm just like, stop. I don't know what. I think I said stop or something. Right. And then he had to swerve over.
He was making me mad.
And I was like, yo. But he was doing little stuff like that throughout the whole ride. I don't like that. I don't like that. Yeah. And then another time when I was in Tampa, I don't know where Alyssa found this guy, but we were going to a pool party and he was coming too. I'll drive somewhere before I ride with somebody. I don't mind driving. I mean, I don't like to drive, but for the sake of my sanity, I would drive. I don't know. I never met this guy in my life, but I'm like, okay, this is Alyssa's friend. This guy went, I promise you, 100 miles per hour the whole ride.
Oh my goodness.
As soon as we got in the car, I was like, Alyssa, we are not riding back with him. No. While we was in the car, I said that. Right. I was so upset. And when we got to the party, I ditched them because I was so pissed.
How'd you get home?
I mean, I found Alyssa eventually, but I don't know what happened to the guy. So how do we get?
Yeah.
Her cousin came and picked up. So so, they wanted to ride back. I was like, I'm not riding back. So she had to call her cousin to come over and pick us up. I was like, that's fine.
I know that's
because there's no way I'm riding back. And I don't know if Ubers were big then or something.
Probably not.
Yeah, but there was no way I was going to ride back with him.
The second time at the skating rink for me was the ride we caught was with this guy. And I can't remember what happened to him, but he had one eye, right? So, and I don't know if you've ever driven with someone who either couldn't see out of an eye, had a patch on an eye, or anything like that. They drive like it. So they're usually really close to whatever side the eye is missing. So if this right eye is missing, they drive really, really close to that side for some reason because they can't see it. So the whole perception is off. So we drove, and then it was leaking.
Oh!
Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but I remember my girlfriend was like, oh my God, it's leaking. And it was just and he drove, in Philadelphia, it's parked cars usually on this side. And we were so close to those parked cars all the way. I mean, honestly, I'm sure if I would have just opened the window and did like this, it probably would have took my hand off because we would have hit it. And you could just feel the wind of the cars.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but we didn't learn our lesson. We still kept going and trying to find our way home.
I mean, I think we all have like had those experiences.
Yeah.
Like a lot of instances, I think I could have really.
Oh yeah, that's
gotten jacked up.
Yeah, that's why I said, you know, that's when you know you got people out there praying for you.
For real, man.
And everything, because you be like, how did I get home? How did I, you know, get here? How did, you know, I don't really know. I should be dead.
Yeah, for sure. And in college, for sure, like there's so much stuff I did in college, and I'm like, wow, I'm really here today.
I know.
But like, I'll tell a story about college. When I first got to college, I went to college in Tampa, which is 7 hours away. Went there because I didn't know anyone. I loved not knowing anyone. But then it didn't work out in my favor not knowing anyone. But I met my first friend, and we're still friends to this day. Shout out to Asia. We met like the second day I was there. And I think like the third day I was there, I dropped my phone in the toilet.
Oh, my goodness.
I dropped my phone in the toilet, so I didn't have a phone. And I don't have a car up there either. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I do not have a phone. I'm like, I can't call back home. I mean, I'm using Asia's phone, but, you know, I don't really know her like that.
Right.
So, but she would come to my room all the time, be like, hey, we about to go do this. Like, she would always come and find me. And at that time, I still had my laptop, which I could send my mom emails and stuff. Then my laptop broke, like 5 days later. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was in a whole nother city, knowing no one like I wanted it to be. But it was crazy. It was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And that was during the time too that serial killer.
Yes, so while she's without any kind of connection to anything, we get an email, the parents get an email saying, oh, you know, just to let you know, there's somebody that's going into people's apartments and shooting them and raping them. And I'm like, wait, what? And I can't call her. I can't do anything. When I was in college, we had a phone in each hallway. And you could call and somebody answer. You'd be like, can you go get,
they should,
you know.
I mean, they don't think to have those. Everybody has cell phones.
So, but we couldn't call her. It was terrible. And
I had to wait for you to ship me the phone. And I'm like, why didn't I just get a ride to a store? Like, why did I have to wait for it to be sent?
Well, I think because of how the company phones were. Remember, I had it through the company.
I don't know, but that was a tough time. I was like, what?
But you survived it. You survived it. That's the thing.
I was like, oh my goodness.
Yep.
I'm all the way out here.
You survived it.
I don't even know. I don't even remember like classes and stuff. I mean, I had to go all the way to the library. The library wasn't close either.
Right. I remember that.
To the library.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Wow. I have one more story. This was my moving away party. When I moved from Philly to Atlanta, I had a party, a big party, and it was at my grandfather at the time had what was called a juke joint. And that was just a place where people go after leaving a club. So it's usually open really, really late, you know. But he allowed us to have our, you know, my party there. So, you know, we had food and everybody came and it was great. And we had, somebody ordered me a stripper and, you know, crazy. Anyway, what's really crazy is that same stripper I saw in Atlanta later at a club. But that's a whole nother story, okay? But anyway, so, you know, we had this party and, you know, we were drinking and my aunt and I, taking pictures with everybody. My aunt and I, we got drunk. I mean, really drunk. We got so drunk that we ended up going to sleep in the party.
Oh my gosh.
So we're sitting in a chair and it was cold. So we're all hugged up to each other and went to sleep. Don't know when anybody left or anything. So when we wake up, it's these old men sitting there just looking at us. Looking at us. And we wake up like, what in the world? The DJ is still playing. So the DJ was Doreen's cousin. But he was still there, but everybody else was old. So I'm like, oh, why are you still here? He's like, they paid me money to stay, so I just stayed. I'm like, oh my God. So it's all these old people just like looking at us, you know what I mean? So we didn't know how he was going to get home. I don't even remember how we
y'all
got
never
there.
knew how y'all was gonna get home.
I know, it was ridiculous. But anyway, one guy came back and picked us up because he said he was like, how are they gonna get home? So he came back and picked us up and took us home. But it was so strange.
Oh my god.
I know. It was strange.
Ooh, a lot of drunken nights.
Yes. But that's all I have for you guys now. I don't want to tell you too much.
I know, that's how I'm like, I got more.
I was going to say, it's a lot more, but
yeah,
we're not going to go there.
But storytelling is fun.
Storytelling is fun.
Sometimes I feel like I get on people's nerves and I'm like,
Until
remember when we did this? And like, yeah, I was there. But it was so fun.
Yeah.
But,
and we get our storytelling from your grandfather, my father, all the grandmom, you know, so.
But yeah. And then picture taking, like a lot of times, you know, I don't remember stories until I look at the pictures.
Right. That's why it's important.
Or like videos too. I
Right.
think I like videos better.
Yeah, I do too.
To better capture the moment.
I do too.
One of my best recent stories was going to New York. Like that was a really good time. And just we went out there for Rolling Loud. Met a lot of cool people, some stars and stuff, and just it was a great vibe, and it was just great energy throughout the whole weekend.
That makes a difference.
And you know, we did some stuff like as far as taking the subway to Harlem, which you said,
which I was like,
nobody told me. I'm like, you know, that's what I was loving about New York. You just hop on the subway, get where you need to go,
get robbed. I
didn't think like certain places like anywhere you should not go into.
You gotta look at that stuff. You gotta look into that stuff before you go.
I know, but because we were staying in Manhattan, and Manhattan was so nice, and we got from up under the subway into Harlem. It was dark, it was cloudy. We was like, oh my god, what did we just step into?
In the hood.
And I'm glad we're not flashy or like designer wears, so we kind of fit in. You can tell we wasn't from there, but you know, we ain't look too out of place. I don't think. We was trying to look regular.
The people from there, the girls from there probably don't even go there.
I don't know what we was thinking, but we ain't have no transportation. So I mean, we could have Uber, but Ubers in New York be expensive.
Yeah, they do. They do. Everything in New York is expensive.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yep.
But yeah, man, stories, so many stories.
And then, I think it's a good idea to always tell stories. Tell your kids stories, because it does help them to realize that you're human, you know what I mean? You're natural, you make mistakes, you do dumb stuff, so they don't think it's just them. So I think it's important to tell those funny stories and so they can see what you've overcome too.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Yeah, it helps.
For sure. So guys, thanks for tuning in as always.
Yes.
We have recently launched the YouTube. I mean, we had the YouTube prior to, but when I say launch, like a relaunch.
Right.
We're putting most of our videos, recent episodes on YouTube, so you can see us.
Yes.
In not the flesh, but
a lot of people like visual.
Yeah, which I get, you know.
Yeah.
Because we are people who talk with our hands.
Yes.
And we have a lot of facial expressions. We have a lot of facial expressions. So it gives us more life when you see us on camera. So definitely subscribe.
Yes.
Because from now on, we're going to post audio and video.
Yes.
So
you can still listen to the podcast, but you can also listen on YouTube.
Yep. Absolutely.
And comment. See, YouTube allows you to comment too.
Right. Comment.
And if you can like and subscribe and comment.
Like, subscribe, comments, share.
Yep.
Text us at our number, email us, all of that.
You have no excuses now.
None. You didn't have any before.
Right. You really have no excuses.
We really have no excuses. So, thanks for tuning in.
Yep. Thank you.
Until next time.
Deuces.
Peace.